Welcome back, guys, to a new video here. I'm going to be doing something a bit different today. All I'm going to do is like a question answer sort of video. So I don't actually obviously have kind of enough followers to do or people asking me questions. So I've just thought my own questions that people normally like maybe ask me in the gym myself. Like I'm a trainer in the gym, fitness coach, and I've done PT as well. And loads of people have asked me different things like my own clients or just random people that have come up to me in the gym or even just some of my friends sometimes will ask me this as well. So I'm just going to go through quite a few questions and give quite a fairly detailed answer to the questions within training, nutrition, supplements, whatever it may be, some of that as well. And I do actually have some things written down here as well with the questions, just so I remember. All right, so first one is how do you train when you're at home? Obviously, all of us are in quarantine at the moment. Well, a lot of us are anyway, in quarantine at the moment, or can go out a little bit, but not too much. And gyms, especially in the UK, are not open at all. So at home, it's not the best. It's okay. I can do that the generic sort of stuff. Like what I do have, I think you've seen my previous videos before. I have resistance bands, well, one thick orange one. Not too sure how much kilos or pounds of resistance it is actually, but it's the highest resistance one they had at the time. I have a red one as well, a red resistance band which has got the handles on, different type of one basically. Some dumbbells that go up to about 27 or 28 kilos each dumbbell, which is not too bad really. I've got Olympic barbell, 7-foot barbell, but I haven't got any weights for it unfortunately. And now an EZ bar as well, which I can put my 1-inch plates on there as well. So that can go up to like 50, 60 odd kilos as well on that one bar. So that's not too bad. But yeah, how do I train when I am at home? What I'd be doing more recently, to be honest, is more sort of things that are more time and attention basically. Obviously I haven't got much weight at all, so I have to do stuff time and attention, so slow movements. So for example, let's say I'm doing like like a chest press or something. As I press forward, I don't just go through the movement just like that. I go nice and slow, control the movement as much as I can. So for example, even when you press, just press nice and slow, trying to squeeze the muscle, the fibers as much as you can. And again, you can release slower if you want to, as well. Or what I do sometimes is just go like more of a normal sort of speed pressing, but slow released as well. You won't need to get as many reps doing that way, but because the muscle's under tension for a longer period of time. So that's the thing, the muscle doesn't understand how many reps you're doing. It just knows the stress the muscle is under. So you may even do like 6, 7, 8 reps of like negatives when it goes down nice and slow. That's still very effective as if you're doing, I don't know, 10 to 12 reps of a fairly heavy weight, because the muscle thinks it's heavy because it's under stress for a period of time as well. So I like doing that way of training. Also, what else am I doing? Just one exercise that's slightly different. I say use the bands. Like maybe if I do flies, get the bands behind me, or when I go outside in my garden, put around a tree behind me, and do flies like that. And again, nice and slow, squeeze the muscle. But again, it's more progressive tension. Anything with bands are progressive tension. So as you, for example, with flies or press, as you go further and further, it gets harder and harder because the band is under tension for a longer period of time as well. And motivation wise, really, is hard kind of to train at home. Motivation wise, like usually when I'm if I'm training or set foot in the gym, put my headphones on, I'm zoned into what I do. There's nothing going to stop me basically. I just zoned in completely. At home, it's kind of hard to do that because I'm in my garage. I've only got like a small space. I could like go in my garden, especially when the weather's nice like today. It's actually really nice and quite warm. But I have to take it through the house partly as well. Some of them like heavy equipment like barbell, maybe the sissy squat or dumbbells and things like that. But I've done it in the garden before as well. But still, it's not the same. But yeah, that's what I'll be doing when I train at home. Anyway, next question is: what is the best way to lose fat? There isn't really a best way. What works for someone may not work for someone else. So, for example, when I've competed, I've done certain things that I've done. Someone does that diet when they compete, it may not work for them at all. So there isn't really a best way to lose fat. But generically, what you want to do, you can be a caloric deficit, which means you got a maintenance, deficit, and a surplus. The maintenance is basically that is how many calories or protein, carbs, or fats you'll have just to maintain your body so it doesn't gain weight, doesn't lose weight, just stays at that pace. Obviously, it may a pound or two go each way, just as body does do that sometimes, but more or less stay in the same sort of place. But you want to do be in a caloric deficit. So usually a caloric deficit is up to 500 calories lower than your maintenance calories. And you don't want to just go straight away into minus 500. You want to slowly decrease it over a period of time. So, for example, if I'm doing a bodybuilding competition, getting ready for that, over the 12 weeks, usually it's 12-week prep I do, over that 12 weeks, I would slowly decrease my carbs at the time. So I have a certain amount of carbs, maybe a week or 2 weeks later, lower it a little bit more, maybe just about 15-20 grams, and then keep going, just lowering it, best like a staggered sort of thing, lower it slowly, lower it, like that. And you don't need to lower your calories if you can see, and if you're weighing yourself every day, which I was doing, you don't. If you still can see you are losing weight on the scales, you don't need to lower it even more. Just because maybe a week or 2 weeks comes by, you think, oh, I need to lower it again. But if you're still losing weight, just keep it at that same calorie deficit as well until you kind of stagnate and stop. And maybe that's when you can drop it a little bit, just so you can get extra edge a bit as well. And for cardio wise, it kind of depends. Like cardio wise, everyone is different really. I prefer myself, and a lot of bodybuilders do prefer more low intensity cardio, so less than high intensity, which is interval sort of training. Low intensity is usually better because basically it burns less muscle doing that as well. Because when doing cardio, if you want to lose fat but not lose any muscle, the best thing to do is be around 130 to 135 beats per minute the entire time of doing the cardio session. Which for me, that is like an uphill walk, or I don't know, on the stairmaster on like a steady pace on a bike or something. That is about, if you obviously change, you have to know your speed, obviously you're going, and maybe wear a hurry monitor or hold on to the handles maybe for certain things like the Stairmaster. But yeah, about 130 to 135 beats per minute is it's called the fat burning zone as well. If you go up higher, let's say 160, 70 beats per minute, which some people do, and they go back down, up and down like intervals. Yeah, it is good. You do burn more. You can burn a lot of calories doing that, and burn even more calories than you would doing low intensity. But some of those calories or more of it would be muscle as well. So you can burn a bit more muscle than you would if you were doing low intensity style sort of cardio as well. And within bodybuilding, obviously you're trying to maintain the muscle, keep muscle as much as possible. So you want to try and keep that muscle. So low intensity for me is better, but high intensity is good in general for general fitness, like your heart and everything, because intervals is very good for your heart, like changing the heart rate and everything. But in general, I would say for me, for bodybuilding wise, low intensity to be honest as well. All right, next question is, are supplements necessary? I do get this question quite a lot actually when I'm at a gym, training myself or training clients, get it from clients or whatever. They are not necessary at all. You can still get amazing results, good results with no supplements whatsoever. In fact, like back in the day, let's say in the 60s or maybe early 70s, back then they didn't really have any supplements, or the only supplement they may have had is like protein shake, like the protein powder. That's all they had. Even before then, maybe the 50s and maybe like the 60s, they didn't have any sort of anything like that at all. And they still had amazing physiques back then. Kind of shows that you don't need them. What it does do when you have them is get that just that slight edge, basically. So maybe you can get, by having some certain supplements, maybe you can get an extra 5%, if that, for example, extra 5% of what you've already got. But they are not necessary whatsoever. And the supplements that I would say, well, the 2 or 3 best supplements that I do personally prefer or take is, one is creatine. I'll say that is the best supplement you can get, to be honest. It does draw water from the rest of your body to your muscles. So it kind of makes your muscles bigger and more fuller, so you're able to lift more as well. So that is actually a proven supplement that it does work very well. But when you do that, you need to make sure you drink plenty of water, because as I said, it does take water from the rest of your body into the muscles, so it can dehydrate the rest of the body. So that's when you have creatine, always drink loads of water. I try to drink maybe about 3 or 4 liters a day, maybe four, maybe more like 4 liters a day. Into fair, in one training session, I can have like 1.5 to 2 liters of water anyway. And then the next one, supplement I'll say is good, is just a protein powder, protein shake. Myself, what one I personally have is Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey Protein. I've just had it for many years when I, like, more or less when I started training, or after a couple of years, maybe when I was 18 or 19. I've just had that and I've just liked it ever since, really. I've tried different ones that are, yeah, they're not too bad, they taste okay and everything, but they don't, maybe some of them don't mix well or something, but I always go back to the Gold Standard Whey Protein because it mixes well, it tastes good, and I don't feel like I'm bloated or feel crap after it or something like that. It doesn't really fit my stomach, which is good, which obviously you don't want at all. So yeah, protein is good. Obviously, that's kind of essential only if you can't get enough protein with solid food. So some people need quite a lot of solid, need a lot of protein in diet, and if you can't really get enough, especially vegans or vegetarians, actually, it is very hard for them to get enough protein because people say with like a vegan or vegetarian, you have a lot of veg or a lot of other things, beans, stuff that has protein, but that is still not enough really to build a decent amount of muscle. To be honest, you need a lot more than that, and the amount of veg you would have to eat to to get enough is absolutely ridiculous. I'd have to have bowls and bowls of it, which will be is not actually good for you because it's so all that a lot of that veg will be high in fiber. Obviously, fiber's good for you, but you have too much fiber, it's not good for you as well. So that's another reason as well. But protein powder, I'd say, is very good, but it's only gives that, as said, all supplements just to give that slight edge as well. And one other one I do have very occasionally, not much at all, which I do actually have now, which I bought just because I'm trying to maintain muscle as much as possible, is BCAAs, so branched chain amino acids. So it's got BCAAs is the three main amino acids in the BCA powder what I have, which is three main ones: is leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So leucine is the one that you want to have most of. That is the main one, the one you want most of. And you got isoleucine and valine, which are still good, but the ones that you don't need to have as much of as well. So that is not too bad. That's basically what that does as well. BCAs is helps maintain the muscle in the body as well. Kind of like help maintain the muscle, prevents muscle breakdown basically. So you want to, when you're training, or if you haven't had food for a while, to use energy. Obviously, it may go for fat. If you don't have much, it may start attacking the muscles as much as possible. So BCAAs help to prevent as much as possible. Obviously, it won't do everything, but as much as possible to prevent muscle breakdown, to use as energy or anything else basically. All right, next one is how do I get so lean when competing? This one, as I said previously before, with the dieting, it is very, very tough, especially when you get that lean for competition. Like when I competed, I was probably between 4 and 5% body fat. I'm not too sure what it was exactly, but about then probably. And getting so lean, obviously, it's a lot of dieting. That's what it is. So I was having like 5, maybe 6 meals a day, usually 5 meals a day. Maybe like one extra snack or whatever it may be, banana, whatever. And then, well, just so I can get enough protein in during the day, because if I have loads of protein all together in one time, you can't. Some of it you may not be using for your body as well. You may be excreting some of it, or just go through your system, or whatever as well. So you may not even use it all. So that's why it was best to have a few more meals in a day, just so the absorption rate of the protein is higher as well. And typically per meal, when I was doing that, I was having between 30 and 40 grams of protein per meal as well. And you don't want to be going above, like say, 50 or 60 grams. Otherwise, you're not going to be using some of it as well to build the muscle, really. And then cardio wise, what I was doing personally for cardio, when I first started for my competition, I was doing maybe just twice a week, just steady state, like upper walking. I think I was doing just about 20 minutes. I can't remember this, maybe that speed was about 5 or 5.5. I think it was in kilometers per hour. I can't remember. And incline, I think percentage wise was about 5 or 6% as well. So I was doing that just twice a week first of all, and after a couple of weeks, or even for example, if I don't notice that I'm losing weight, maybe I add in an extra cardio session another third day, or maybe add an extra 5 or 10 minutes to my cardio session that we're doing as well. But it is also very, very tough to get that lean as well. You have to make sure your macros, your protein, carbs, and fats are exact, so I was weighing everything. You have to be basically quite anal with all this stuff because it is very in depth. Basically, I had to do so much research beforehand of what to do, how to do when, especially for like peak week a bit, maybe implement slightly different stuff as well. And good foods to have, what food to have when for its most potential getting your results basically. So it is a lot, very tough. But I think I did actually maybe like a year or just over a year ago even put another video about my entire competition actually of what I did exactly and how I think it might have been the food I had and cardio and stuff and what I want to do to go into more detail. But this is just more the generic sort of question there as well. All right, next one is what are cheat meals and refeeds for? That is a very good question. Just because a lot of people have a cheat meal or refeed, well, usually a cheat meal because they feel they deserve one, or because you've been dieting for so long, you feel like you just want to have something that tastes good. That is not what they are for. Refeeds and cheat meals are for if you are not losing weight. People may be thinking, if you're not losing weight, why would you have more food or like a cheat meal, a lot of food like carbs, fats, and in protein in one go? Why would you do that? The reason for that, because when you basically dieting, your metabolism basically slows down. It can slow down quite a lot, and basically what you want to do to kickstart metabolism, you just have like a really high carb or high fatty meal. You know, so for example, what I've had before, maybe like a pizza or a I don't know, burger and chips, maybe with donuts after or something, or whatever. What you can choose, whatever your favorite food is, you can have that. And basically, what reason I had that is because I was weighing myself every day, and after 3 or 4 days, I wasn't losing weight, and I was maybe, and my cardio was still going higher. Like the 3 days before, I raised my cardio higher as well, and I still wasn't losing weight. So what I did, I implemented a cheat meal into there. So basically had whatever food I want for just for that one meal, and the next day I get back on, or the next meal I get on back to my normal sort of diet as well. So the next day when you weigh yourself, you probably would be a kilo or a couple of pounds overweight over your last let's say weigh-in. But that is because you'll be holding loads of water weight, because it holds loads of water when you have loads of fatty foods. So it's not actually extra fat. But then when you start from there, when you go down the next few days, you will notice it will go back, it will go down again, and even drop down the lowest weight that you had previously before as well. So it drops back down as well. So that's really what they're there for, just to help you kickstart your metabolism, keep it all going again, just to shock your body a bit, because it hasn't had anything like that in a while. Just shock your body a bit, just to for a reason for it to like to think, well, what's happening, and you will lose weight basically. And refeeds are basically the same. Some people choose to have refeeds instead, which is basically just having, let's say, not a cheat meal, so normal sort of food you'll have, but just a bit more of it. So for example, let's say I don't know, I had, for example, 200 grams of rice in a certain meal. Maybe if I want to refeed, instead of having 200 grams, I'll maybe have 400 or 500 grams of rice in that meal instead as a refeed. Or you can split it within, let's say, split it within the day instead. So add extra 50 grams for every meal in the day if you want to. And then you go back to what you're doing before as well the next day. There's different ways of doing it, but I'll say really that is what they are for anyway. All right. Next question is, what is the best training split? Personally, there is no best training split. It's what works for you. Different training splits work for different people. Personally, myself, what I do, what I prefer is the push-pull legs routine, and 6 days a week as well, which is first day, push, which is chest, shoulders, triceps. Second day, which is pull, back and biceps. Third day, which is legs, just legs by itself. Can do a bit of abs or core work after if I want to, if I've got the energy. And then repeat as well straight after those 3 days. Or if you want to, you can do push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, rest, and go around like that. Personally, I do push-pull legs, then rest. So 6 days on, 1 day off as well. But there are many different training splits as well. You can do one that Arnold, which I've actually done once before, which is chest and back together in 1 day, that's quite tough because doing chest and back together, two massive muscles training together, is a very tough training session as well. And the next day would be was it shoulders and arms together in one day, and the next day legs, and then either rest or repeat. So it's similar to the push pull legs, like how many days a week you're, or how often the frequency of training the muscle. It's just like certain muscles you're putting with another muscle instead, sort of thing. That's the only difference. And as well, some people do go for more of the bro split, which is basically like a 5 or 6 day week, usually a 5 day week. So maybe let's say chest Mondays, back Tuesday, legs Wednesday, Thursday shoulders, and Friday arms, for example. A lot of people do that, which a lot of big bodybuilders do that, and it seems to it works for them. So really do what works for yourself. Over the over the many years of training, I've tried loads and loads of different training splits. So I did start with the like normal bro split, and I've now after maybe 2 or 3 years later, I tried the push pull legs, which I found it worked for me. And I don't just do push pull legs now, even though I found it works for me best. I do different ones as well. Like for example, now I'm actually doing chest and triceps together, then back and biceps next day, then shoulders next day, and then legs next day, and then rest, and then do it again as well. So there's many different ways of training. Really, just try out different ones. It may take a while. It can take months or even years to try to find different ones and to find which ones work for you as well. But you'll try different ones, and don't just do it for like a week or two or even a month. Try and do it for really for at least 12 weeks really, just so you can notice difference, see if it is working for you as well. And then once you found that one, you can do that one, stick with that one, or do it for a bit more. But and also between when doing that one, do another routine in between, just to shock the body a bit for maybe a month or 6 weeks if you want, then go back to the one you love doing again as well. But yeah, that's personally what I do as well. All right, next one. What type of songs do I listen to when training? I do listen to, some of you may be shocked by this, but listen to a lot of orchestral music, like dramatic orchestral music when training, especially I do like weights, heavy weights, like dramatic orchestral music. Even sometimes like let's say different theme tunes of films. Some films, like for example the Superman theme tune or the Batman one. I can't think of any other ones now actually, but yeah, and I've got different other ones. There's one as well called 300 Violin Orchestra, which is a good song. That's not from a film, I don't think, but they've got that one. Requiem for a Dream, also another one I listen to. Even I've got the Transformers 4 theme tune I listen to, and also the film Elysium. I think that was something with Matt Damon, that film. That one, which I loved listening to that song, that theme tune song while training. That's type of ones I feel, I don't know, it feels like it pushes me a lot for some reason. I think maybe because when I've watched in the past and still do watch a lot of motivational clips online, or let's say of like I've just someone made like a motivational clip 3 or 4 minutes long, whatever, of people training like a bodybuilding training motivation video basically, and with background music to it. A lot of time the background music is that type of music, so that's probably why I do listen to more of that, because when I hear that music, I think of that video and visualize them training, whoever it is, these bodybuilders or Arnold or even the current bodybuilders, classic you guys, just envision them training and then pushing themselves, and then like I'm visualizing myself on stage as well. That just drives me more and more, because I know I want to get to that level as well. I don't just listen to that, but also listen to a bit of Linkin Park as well. I don't mind a little bit of Linkin Park. A bit Post Malone as well I like. Some of this stuff, maybe not for really, really heavy weights sometimes, but it's just generic weights I do listen to, but not maybe really heavy sets. And also Eminem. I love listening to Eminem as well. He's the only rapper I've ever actually really listened to. But he's got so many different songs, but I do listen to him as well. So they're really the main songs I really listen to when training, weight training. And when actually, I don't do cardio what I'm not doing at the moment, when I do cardio as well, the songs I do listen to is more EDM music. So electronic dance music. Like people I listen to is more like Showtek, Avicii, Steve Aoki, what was it? Four Strings, I think, is another one. Just all these different, basically these different DJs, all these different DJs that would like perform at Ultra Music Festival, would perform at Tomorrowland, sort of thing like those. That's what I could listen to usually when doing cardio, or sometimes in cardio I may watch a YouTube video or something like that. But usually those type of songs push me for cardio wise, just a bit different. All right, this is the last question now. The last one is pet peeves of the gym. Right, now I don't have many pet peeves really. People obviously do what they want. I don't. It's none of my business at all. But one pet peeve which I've told, let's say I've trained clients and I've told them not to do this, or I've just seen people do it at the gym, and I do actually go up to them and say, "Don't do it. Best not to do it." Is when they are walking on an incline treadmill, holding on, and you basically end up leaning back. That is literally pointless. If you do that, you might as well be flat, to be honest. Because what a lot of people do, because if you're not, like an incline like that, you hold on. Let's say this is like a person, you won't be like that. You hold on, you end up leaning backwards like that. If you're like that, you might as well be completely flat. Because there is no, when you're in incline, it's not taking the tension off the legs because you're using the arms to hold on to keep you in place as well. So holding on like that onto an incline treadmill is literally pointless. A lot of time they do it probably because they want to see the sort of heart rate monitors. They want to see the heart rate the entire time. Really, I'd only hold it up maybe just very quickly for like 10 seconds or whatever. If you just really want to quickly know your heart rate. Or best thing to get like an Apple Watch or certain watch that does have a heart rate, or like a heart rate band that connects to the treadmill as well. But that is one of the worst things because it's pointless. You might as well not be an incline. You might as well just be completely flat at all, and it's just not hard. You can see people when they do that, they come off or they're doing it. They think, oh, this is easy. Oh, I'm really good. They just think they're really good at it, or whatever. It's because they're making it easier for themselves. At the end of the day, with weight training and cardio, you want to make it as hard as possible for yourself. The harder it is for yourself, the more effective it is going to be and the more benefit you'll get out from it. So without holding on, yeah, it's harder. You may have to lower the incline slightly or maybe come down the speed a little bit, but you'll feel it a lot harder, more in your leg muscles, and your cardio wise, you'll be out of breath more and sweating more, and you get more of a workout from it as well. Um, Other pet peeves, I'm trying to think now, of the gym. Oh, the main one, obviously, one what everyone would know is not re-racking your weights as well. Like either dumbbells, people leave them on the floor, don't put them on the racks, or when you have plates, like I say, people you put it on the bar or on the floor, they just leave it there. Don't put it back on the storage rack at the side of the bench or on or wherever or whatever wherever the plates go, like a plate tree basically. Um, just just general decency. Just put your if you use something to put it back where you found it, or put it back where it goes basically. Otherwise, some people, I say at the gym I work at now, some people go on leg press, go really heavy weight. And even the leg press by itself is about, with no extra weight on, is about 70, 75 kilos. So if you add loads of weight to it, obviously you can add weight to it, but always put it back after, because what I've seen so many times, which I've had to help people beforehand, you get a woman on it, maybe like an older woman that wants to go out using the machine, but can only use it with maybe like an extra 5 kilos on it, or even just the weight of the actual machine itself is enough for them. And they got loads of, let's say, they're 20 kilo plates on the side, or 25 kilo plates even, and they can't physically lift off and put it off. So I have to get one of us or another staff member or whoever to help them to put the weights back. Which is, if you think of someone else, if you're using the machine, think of as someone weaker than you that wants to use it, put your weight back, and then they can use it. And if they want to add more, they can add more. And as well with dumbbells, you can dumbbells on a or back on the rack, just so you can easily find them as well. If there's those dumbbells on the floor, different places, it's hard to find the right dumbbells you want to find. And maybe you might find one, for example, let's say when, I don't know, it was 20 kilos. And as an example, you may find one there and you try to find, oh, where's the other one now? You're trying to find where the other one is. And you find it's, oh, okay, it's the other side of the gym, or maybe 10 minutes later you find it on the other side of the gym or whatever. Just put it back in the right places and on the racks. And as well, it's more of a, it's hazards when it's on the ground as well. You can trip over it more. So it's much easier just to put it back. People can see what dumbbells, where they are, and it's easier, accessible, and it's much safer as well, basically. But yeah, I'll say that's about it really, to be honest. I don't know how long this video was, but I thought I'd just do like a quick question and answer video. If you want me to any sort of certain types of videos, just let me know, put a comment in the comment section below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you later.